Yo, what's up? What's up? It's late here. I'm in Chicago. It's almost 10 p.m., but I couldn't miss the chance to come on and say what's up to my favorite people. We're vibing tonight. I got some new glasses on. I got some new hair, that's compliments of my salon. Keep It Natural, located in Chicago, Illinois. They do some really, really good work. Actually, you should follow them on Keep It Natural. Follow it on Keep It Natural. You should follow them on Instagram at Keep It Natural. Also, go to the Mo. She has like 10,000 followers, y'all. But the work she does is really artistic. It's so incredible. We're in a new place today. This is a fantasy fiction, outer space kind of vibe. I'm really feeling it. And I'm happy to be here with you just because in a couple days, I'm going to be on a plane flying quite a few miles, just a few hours to Puerto Rico. I've never been to Puerto Rico before. I'm really excited about it. It's for a business trip / retreat / vacation getaway. And, I was really debating last year whether or not I wanted to go on this trip. And I said, you know what? I'm going to treat myself. So that is a message to you. This year, find a way. You know what? Not even this year. This week, find a way to treat yourself. Because guess what? You work hard. You deserve it. Today, I wanted to talk about a few tips for meetings. And this is a continuation of the conversation we had last week about how we can best show up in meetings for networking opportunities. This is something that's a little bit more intimate. Now, you could use these strategies and these hacks for networking conversation. You can also use them for one-on-one conversations. But really, when I'm thinking about these strategies and putting them in use, I'm thinking about those awkward moments when you're sitting in your meeting room, whether it's on webinar, video camera, you're in person, and you just listen to your coworker give, their 20-minute conversation or give a presentation on a topic, and now there's just crickets, and everybody's looking at each other. Nobody knows what to say, and the presenter is up there awkwardly in awkward silence, waiting for somebody to chime in and pitch and to contribute. These tips are for those situations, those scenarios. You can be the hero of your meetings by putting these tips in action, okay? And they're going to help you if you're anything like me and you struggle with anxiety during meetings and you just get those moments where you want to say something, but you just feel that tightness in your chest and it's hard to get it out the right way. These tips are going to help you because it's going to really flip your mind and rewire your mind from this place of where you're so concerned about what you're going to say and how you're going to say it. It's going to flip that focus to the presenter and what you're hearing and what you're learning. And naturally, by listening and practicing these active listening skills, you're going to be able to contribute at your best. So let's hop into it. So these are just a few meeting hacks that will bail you out when you're at a loss for words in meetings. And when I say bail out, I'm not talking about going to take a bathroom break or going to grab a snack. What I'm talking about is when you're in those moments, you don't know what to say, practicing this and putting these tips into action, it's going to help you to get out of that space and to show up as engaged and prepared and as a rock star that I know you are. The first tip that I have for you today is to ask a question to clarify a point. So this is after you listen to a presentation and you're trying to figure out what to say. First thing you can do is ask a question. And the question that you're going to ask is going to be to clarify a point. So that question might sound like, what was your approach to? Who was involved with the success of this project? Where can I learn more about this project? Or will we receive slides? Now, I know that wasn't necessarily to clarify a point, but it's your point that, hey, I want to learn a little bit more about this, and I would love to get access to the presentation after this meeting. Now, this really gives you the opportunity to show support for your team member, for the person that was doing the presenting, but it also gives the presenter an opportunity to share with you more information. And the great thing about this question, I love this question about will we receive slides, because it's usually the question that's in the back of everyone's mind, and people will love that you ask this question. People will love that you ask this question. It makes the presenter feel good, and it's you asking for a resource for everyone else at the table. So you seem like a team player. A question might sound like, what sources did you refer to for your research? By asking great questions, what you're doing is you're really giving your presenter the opportunity to expand on their knowledge or their subject matter expertise at a deeper level. Let's be honest, 20 minutes is a great amount of time for a presentation. I think 10 to 20 minutes is the perfect amount of time. However, it's not enough time to say all the things. So by asking good questions, you're giving your presenter an opportunity to share more about what they found or what they learned during the research of their topic. Similarly to asking a question to clarify a point, you might ask a question to probe for more information. So for example, you might say something like, I'd like to learn more about, or tell me more about, or can you share more about, right? By probing for more information, it's really helping you to, again, give your presenter the opportunity to expand on a topic or something in their research that they really weren't able to share in that short amount of time. It's also giving you the opportunity to learn more about something that really was of interest to you during that conversation. Probing for more information is a really great way if you don't know what to say, or you feel like, okay, I don't have anything profound to add to the conversation. It's a way to draw out more value from the presentation. So probing for more information might sound something like, you stated that young professionals represent 30% of the workforce. Can you share more about what ages are represented in that figure? Right? So we have the one where you say that young professionals represent 30% of the workforce, and then we're probing about what ages are represented in that figure, right? Because 30%, that's an interesting number. I want to learn a little bit more about that. And that kind of takes us into the third point, which is share something that was surprising to you. So this might sound like, I was shocked by, it's surprising that. Those are really great ways to highlight spaces and areas within the conversation that a lot of other people probably locked onto too as well, right? It gives you an opportunity to show the most surprising, most interesting parts of what your peer is presenting, and to say, wow, that was actually really surprising. I didn't know that. And as a result, your peer is going to be elated and say, oh yeah, I did this research and I found out this really interesting statistic. Let me tell you a little bit more about that. So think about it. All of these steps are really allowing us to open up the door for a deeper conversation and allowing us to learn a little bit more. You might also say something like, you shared that 61% of millennial and Gen Z workers were stressed, overwhelmed, and in danger of burnout. That's shocking. When we talk about something that was surprising to us, we're really allowing our presenter to say, yeah, that is shocking. Let me tell you a little bit more about what I found on that topic. The other strategy that you can take is to mirror the conversation. Now, this is a key strategy when we talk about active listening. This is the first step to active listening, is to mirror the conversation. So to state back exactly the way that you heard it. What this allows you to do is to, one, it helps your peer or the presenter feel validated because you listened, heard it, and you stated back what they said. So now I feel validated as the presenter because you got it, right? This is also going to help you to appear more prepared and more sharp, because before you even open your mouth to make a comment or to make a suggestion, listen, you just want to make sure that you're hearing the information correctly. You want to make sure that you're getting it right. And that's one of the first signs of someone who is very thoughtful in their response and very strategic in how they respond to things. So we want to mirror the conversation. So mirroring the conversation might sound something like, I heard you say X, Y, and Z. Or it may sound something like, you stated that Z by X. And in a longer form, it might say, you stated that there are more than 28 million professionals between the ages of 18 and 34. And if you want, you can always attach one of the other strategies, which is to ask a question. Did I hear that correctly? Right? So you stated that more than 28 million professionals between the ages of 18 and 34. Did I hear that correctly? So you're just validating what the presenter said. The other step or the other strategy is to paraphrase. So in addition to mirroring, so mirroring is stating exactly what they said. Paraphrasing is stating what they said, but with your own interpretation of what that means. It's taking that idea and really snapping it down. Paraphrasing technically doesn't necessarily mean that you state your own ideas, but I think if you're paraphrasing, you're adding your own kind of bias or thought process to those words. So it's not as factual or exact or as a matter of fact as stating specifically what they said. It's giving you the opportunity to then say, for example, you stated that job satisfaction among young professionals is at an all-time low. So I'm hearing that current job environments need a transformation. Is that right? Right? So you're now making a connection between what you heard and what that made you think, or what that made you feel, or what you're going to do differently in response to this information. Paraphrasing and mirroring the conversation allows, again, your peer or your presenter to validate what you heard. It allows you to validate what they said. And it allows you to engage in a deeper dialogue that really starts at more of a factual point than just your opinion, right? So it's grounded on whatever research or whatever point or whatever information your presenter has gathered and presented. and then you're building on that conversation versus poking holes in it or trying to really interpret it or change it or transforming it into something new. You're just building on the conversation, which will make your presenter feel really good, and it's going to help your peers because they may say, oh yeah, you mentioned that job satisfaction among young professionals is at an all-time low. That was also surprising for me. I'd like to learn more about XYZ. So you see how this is a cycle that can continue, right? And you're just setting the stage. And then the final tip that I have for you guys tonight is to offer a compliment. Now, offering a compliment is one of my favorite things to do because it's so easy. You don't have to have all the answers. You don't have to have all the questions. Anyone can offer a compliment and make that presenter feel good, especially when they're crickets, right? Now, compliments can borderline on patronizing if clearly people are not engaged and you're like, man, I really love this presentation. It was great. I think it's important to really qualify your compliment. So don't just say, hey, that was a great presentation. Be as specific as possible about what you liked. For example, you might say something like, I really like the way you approached XYZ. Or the research you shared here is comprehensive. Well done. You might also say, your presentation was so clear and easy to follow. I got so much value out of this. I'm going to try some of these tips when I get back to my work. Or I'm going to share some of this information with other people who I think could benefit, right? So try to be as specific as possible in your compliment. Just saying, hey, that was good. Quite frankly, that's not enough. We need to really qualify that for it to really hold weight. So a great compliment might sound like, you chose to talk about young professionals, which isn't a perspective that we hear a lot about. Thank you for sharing these insights. So with that, I will end this live. Thank you so much for joining us today. Just one more thing. All of these tips are really, really great. But again, in order to really execute them in the best way, we got to be taking really good notes. Taking good notes is going to make those connections with your brain. It's going to really strengthen your recall because when you're writing, you're an active participant in your learning, right? Whether it's writing in a notebook or writing in a note-taking application on your device, I would say try to stay away from the mobile phone because even though you might be taking notes, people, whenever they see you on your phone, they automatically think you're out here playing Tetris. You know what I'm saying? So try, I think a computer is fine, but I actually like writing in a physical notepad because it also flexes the creative part of my brain versus just the analytical left brain part. Because you're writing, right? And it's your penmanship and it's your hand style. And you can tell a lot about people's personalities by the way that they write. And so writing and journaling is such a really great exercise. And when you're writing, when someone, writing in a notepad, when someone is speaking, it really speaks volumes to, hey, you're here, you're listening, you're engaged. And in those moments, to be honest, you may not need to say anything at all. But if you do feel pressured to say something and you don't know what to say, try these tips and you might be your meeting's hero. With that, ciao for now, and I will be back very, very soon. Take care. Bye.